What is going on, guys? Nathan here with a League of Legends gameplay commentary here, talking about my favorite champ at the moment, Jax. Not sure if he's my favorite champ at the moment or in the entire game, because every time I've played Jax, except for once when I had to AFK to do something, I've won every match with Jax so far, and that is really promising. But I know that Jax isn't very well liked by the community overall, mostly because he is incredibly good in almost all stages of the game, and he's very easy to play. So when you combo, a character being good and easy, it just doesn't make for a combo that people tend to like. But overall, he is just very fun to play. I've been having an absolute blast with him, and he is actually pretty cheap with a 1350 IP. I personally think he should be maybe raised up to 3150 because he is one of those top tier champs. But I suppose at maybe a very high level, he can be countered easily, especially in top lane. But I've been jungling with him more than top laning, because top laning, it's not as fun as jungle Jax, because those stuns with your E are just so much fun to use on people, and then you just wreck people with your lantern. But so overall, Jax is very fun to play, mostly because he has an absolutely retarded attack speed and attack damage, because that is one of his passives. And also a passive of his ult is that as he continues to attack, his attacks get faster. I think most people know this, and his ult makes it so that every third attack he does extra damage, which is amazing. And I believe that passive levels up as you level up your ult as well, so that third ability gets stronger every, I think, 5 levels or something like that, which is amazing. But yeah, he's just very fun to gank, and in team fights he is absolutely a powerhouse. So early game, and this is talking about Jax jungle, because I don't have much experience with jungle. Actually, Jax, I think, has been the only character I've ever jungled with, because I'm a complete noob to jungle, so I don't really want to try anything unfamiliar at the moment. But this is just my experience so far with jungle. So early game, I've noticed that jungle camps can be pretty hard. But it's just once you get Wriggle's Lantern, which is my first item that I usually get, it is a lot easier, because I believe you get some sort of lifesteal / extra damage with Wriggle's Lantern, and once you get that, you're pretty much fine to take out any camp. It's just buffs might be a little bit harder because they do extra damage, which kind of sucks. But early game typically for me isn't very fun. It's just kind of going from camp to camp like normal, and then I find that I'm kind of a late ganker. Like, I don't know exactly when most people start to gank, but I don't gank until I have my ult, mostly because like, I am almost nothing without that third damage boost from my lantern, which is the passive from my ultimate. So I just tend to wait for my ult to get that extra AD, and then I can basically start ganking from there. So usually I get Wriggle's Lantern for that extra camp, I don't know how you would say it, to basically take on camps easier. And then I start out with tier 1 boots for that extra speed, because if you can get the extra gold in time, you can outrun an opponent that you might be ganking. And then I typically get Zeal in Triforce, which gives me extra, I think, attack damage and attack speed. So that's pretty much early game. Mid-game, in my opinion, Jax is the best at mid-game, because it's also the most fun, actually. But this is basically when your enemies start to find out how scary your ganks are, because Jax seems like he won't do that much damage, because all he is basic attacks, and especially if you're like a ranged ADC, for example, you just don't realize how much attack damage his basic attacks are basically going to do, and you think that Jax he's melee, so he obviously has to be right in my face for him to do anything. But I've noticed that if you really play it right, hiding in the bushes and wait for enemies to get close, you can just do absolutely amazing things in mid-game. I mean, when I do my EQW combo, it basically takes an ADC down to about 2/3 health, and from there, if you have some team communication and can get some damage rolling, then those ganks can become very effective, and you can start really pushing lanes. I typically build Boots of Mobility after Zeal, and then get Triforce, and the reason for that is even though I might not have the damage, being able to run down opponents can be very not rewarding, but very worth it, I guess. Worth waiting the Triforce. I've tower dived a lot of people actually off of the fact that I had boots of mobility very early game, so that's just something nice. And then I usually start into Blade of the Ruined King once I get my Triforce, and then somewhere in Blade of the Ruined King I get Home Guard mobility boots, and that might be a little bit of an early tier 3 boots build, but that's just kind of what I like to do. And that's pretty much mid game. Late game, Jax I think falls off a little bit because in team fights, he can be bursted down very easily. He's not super tanky, unless you want to build him tank, which is a thing, but overall, he's not, like, he's not one that can just initiate into 5 people and not expect to die, basically. Like, you are very much in danger if you want to initiate into 5 people, but that is something that I like to do. Once I have Warmogs, which is typically what I build after Blade of the Ruined King, you can definitely initiate with your EQW, which will stun your opponent, and hopefully your teammates will realize what's going on, kill that person, and then send the enemy team running, because being one man down can definitely be the difference in a team fight. But I mean, overall, late game Jax does drop off a bit. He is great to backdoor with if he runs teleport in the top lane, because he will absolutely murder towers, because towers can pretty much only be affected by attack damage, and Jax is literally the best attack damage champion in the entire game, just period. So he can absolutely destroy towers in about 10 seconds late game. So if you really want to get some extra gold or take down an objective or backdoor the enemy or whatever, he is the person to send in. Typically for my builds, the next item after Blade of the Ruined King is Warmogs, like I said before, and then I typically start into a Bloodthirster, and that might be surprising on somebody like Jax, whereas you might build another defensive item such as like Guardian Angel or something like that, but I actually take Bloodthirster because I find that the lifesteal, because theoretically I'm going to be hitting enemies or monsters a lot, and I think that extra lifesteal will basically substitute the health or the extra defense that I would have gained with something like a Guardian Angel, where I have extra armor and magic resist. Plus the Bloodthirster does give me extra AD, so I just like to substitute lifesteal with whatever defense I might have gotten from a different item. And then I typically finish off my build with a Static Shiv or another Bloodthirster. I kind of haven't hammered that last item out yet, just because it does happen so rarely, and I have looked at builds, but it's just I kind of want to put my own touch on my Jax build. So I think Static Shiv might be common as an item on Jax, but otherwise I just do another Bloodthirster because I don't know what else to build, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about Jax and how I'm having so much fun with him. He's just a blast to play with, especially in the jungle. Top, I mean, I think Jax can be countered quite easily on the top because he's melee, and he can be poked very easily, but Jax can really poke if he uses his EQW a lot. I mean, you don't have to combo all 3, but if you just Q the enemy, it can do a lot. And I know that one match in particular, I was playing as Nasus against a Jax, and this Jax was absolutely denying me CS because he could EQW more damage than I can actually basic attack and then Q him. So I don't know, Jax can just he can also be a force on top lane, but really he's just so fun to see, like a tower's health melt, or you just keep attacking people with your lamppost and just watch their health just plummet. So I don't know, he is definitely my favorite champion at the moment. I'm trying to play him like in every game that I can to get more experience with him and be better, but overall he's just a blast to play with, and that was really the point of this video, was to just talk about him a little bit and express my feelings on the topic. So anyway, that will pretty much wrap up this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you could leave a rating, it's always appreciated, and I will see you all later.